Hello and welcome into the Sorare Data Show. I am Andrew Lairdinho. You can find me as Lairdinho on Sorare. Joined today by the Zap Daddy himself, TrippinB. As I told him just a minute ago, there have just been too many rivals conversations going on without him. And so I had to fix that. And so here he is. So TrippinB, thanks for coming on.
Let's talk about it. Thank you for having me. Always glad to talk with you, Andrew. Great friend. One of my best internet friends I've ever had. And definitely...
I mean, we have embraced in real life here.
That's true. Yeah, I know. That's what makes, like, when you've crossed over the barrier, that's what makes you such a good internet. Yeah, and it's Rivals time, baby. I mean, I know Rivals is finally here. You know, we were pretty big on it even during the beta stage. We've been talking about it a long time. But since it went public, it definitely like upped a level the discourse. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, I think do you think that the level of discourse is as great as you thought it would be? And I feel like it kind of matches the uptake. Uptake's not the right word, but like the uptake of users playing the game.
Yeah, there's like a lot of people were just like, even though the beta mode was pretty open, like after a couple of weeks, anyone that wanted could get in the beta. There was a lot of people that were like, I'm not messing with the beta. Wait till it goes live. So then that whole population jumped in once it went live, and now there's a lot more people with a lot more bad ideas about what they think is right or wrong about Rivals. So funny. Like I've become like, lately I go through phases, you know, like, so I'm like anybody, you know, I have swings in moods and things like that. And like lately I've been in like sort of the salty trash talking phase, and just telling people that I think are idiots that they're more. I've been drifting towards my Sean, you know, maybe a little bit more, just telling people that I think are morons, they're morons. So maybe we'll get into that a little bit today, but there's been a lot of bad ideas in these discussions. So that's all I'm trying to say.
And I've heard this before. I think you have a lot of good ideas that could save.
I have so many ideas to say.
So many ideas. Skosmo's here for the ideas. So thank you to everyone who is joining. It's really funny because I feel like everything we have all sides of the spectrum here. So Shaforkel here says, "Hi everyone. I guess I'm the only one who never liked Rivals at all. I am playing it though."
Wow.
Jimmer says he loves Rivals. And what is this? Midiozo? I don't know. Who was first in today? So congratulations on that.
No, I was first.
Rivals.
I was first.
Oh, okay, that's right. Maddie's so rare. Good evening. And then Juju was the bronze. But Rivals does not have a future with the current rules and conditions. After the initial hype is gone, it will gradually go down by itself if Sorare don't change something.
Yeah.
I fully expect changes to come.
Yeah.
And so we just need to let them happen. And it's funny to me because I feel like we were all very realistic at first. Like, okay, this is really fun. And maybe in a few months, you know, it'll develop into something else. And it's been like 5 days later and everyone's like, this game's dead, man. It just
done. It's over.
Like what? Yeah, it's over.
Yeah. It's over that quick. That's the internet life and death cycle, you know, like you just like in this day and age, things move fast. You're either a hit from the very jump or you're a failure, I guess. No, I think we've definitely seen that there's iteration in Rivals way more so than in pro mode, SO5 mode. Like they change things a lot faster in Rivals. Yes. What's up, Monkey, by the way? I hope this is hurting your eyes for sure. Since the arrival of Rivals, they've definitely made a lot of changes. They've made some improvements to the user interface, not other ones that I think they should do. There's changes they could make to make it more accessible and a lot easier that they should do. We can talk about that. But they do make changes, so maybe those will happen. And as far as excuse me, I got something caught in my throat, so I'm kind of coughing here. But as far as the disillusionment and the disappointment and the people who are like, it's not what I thought it was. Fuck, I'm done with this game. You know, like they're first off, I think they need patience. Like Axl Rose saying, all we need is just a little patience, you know? And the other thing is manage your expectations. And the other thing is maybe they have a little bit of kernel of truth to them. I mean, I'm not here to tell you Rivals is perfect. I mean, there definitely needs to be some improvements, but like, I want to know from some of these people, what did you want? And I'm always interested in solutions that like aren't so myopic and just like everyone. The reason I say everyone has crap ideas is because everyone's ideas are just like so like maybe not even intentionally, but just they're narcissistic. They're just like so self-focused, and like the way to save Rivals is to tweak it to exactly the way that I want it, and that's going to benefit me the most and make it easiest for me to win. You know, it's just like, it's so funny. So like, you know, let's hear some bigger picture thoughts.
As ZMstar says here, my expectation is that I get all the stuff I want without work. And
hopefully being a little tongue in cheek there, but
right. Yeah. No, I think they should just double tactics points for anyone named Andrew.
Right. Exactly. That's the best way to save rivals. Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. That's it. I mean, that's the RIP rivals thing is a bit tongue in cheek, I will admit. But what's funny is that it feels like the people who are giving up, I don't even want to say that look like people giving up. The like 2 people I know who are like, oh, I'm not playing anymore, are people who are dying to play. And like, I feel like that's actually the first thing they need to solve. That there are people who are like, I really like this game. I really enjoy playing it. I will play it every day if I can. I will play 5 to 10 rivals matchups a day. Shout out to Gator Guy here, because he's the one who really is hitting this home. And he's like, but I don't need tickets.
Yeah.
And I don't have any people that I want to like spam invites to get more tickets. And winning, I think he's won the 7 in a row. Winning 7's really hard. Winning 10 is like super hard.
Yeah.
And the fact that you could win 10 and also end up with no more tickets. And I feel like they need to figure out a way to distribute tickets more to people who want them. As I sit here with 54 tickets that I'm guessing would take me a year to get through.
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, I think you should use your tickets more. I don't know what you're waiting for, but I get it. Like, I think, but like, I guess in that case, I try to think about why Sorare has made it sort of a little bit of a stumbling block to get tickets, right? Like, it's not easy to get tickets. You can win a few times, and then you're pretty much stuck in your like every 12 hours. So I have like there's plenty of ways to just like instantly fix this, if you will, as Gator Guy would like to see it happen for him. But then you have to think about the why and what the secondary effects of that might be. If everybody has a bunch of tickets, then is the leaderboard really just only the grinders? And like if they just release the floodgates on they could do tickets every 8 hours instead of every 12 hours. That would help. They could do, instead of logging in to claim your ticket, they just put the ticket in your account. That would help. They could do reset your streaks every week or every 2 weeks. So you're having a hard time getting the 7 and the 10 streak, but you can get your 3 streak gets reset. You could, like, if you did a 3 streak once, 2 weeks later, you can do another 3 streak again, or a 1 week later. So there's a billion things they can do.
So many good ideas
to open the floodgates, but do they want to? And that problem probably is that they haven't really explained why they might not want to. Like, if they would be more transparent, if only Sorare could just improve communication, everything would be fine, right? But the thing of it is, like, so then, like, let's say everyone gets all the tickets they want, and all of a sudden Gator Guy can just grind tickets to his heart's content and can just jump in the arena. And then the leaderboard, as Matty Sorare says, is just pure volume. And it's just like, I've talked to Your Name about this, and it's like, you know, if you get 10 points for a win and 5 points for a loss, well, then, you know, you can go 2 and 3, right? And be +5 in points. So like, you can be a losing player and moving your way up the leaderboard. So it's like, it doesn't really make sense that way.
Why is volume a bad leaderboard driver? Like, doesn't it reward the people who are like really, really into the game?
Yes, I agree. I think that's good. It definitely, it's not bad at first. It's not bad at first. It's one of those things that's seductive because it just like the dark side, man. It draws you in, and it seems like, yeah, well, hey, we're paying off the people who care the most. We're rewarding people's passion, you know, But what it does is that eventually, that was kind of the driving philosophy behind a lot of decisions they made in 2018 and 2019 and 2020 with SO5 players. You know, they're like, you know, we're going to tweak this game to reward the people who are grinding the hardest. And then all of a sudden, a few years later, it's an impenetrable game that no one can get into. And there's no entry point for if they did that, and let's say Keith grinds his way up to where he has, you know, like 20,000 zaps because he just plays 50 matches a day, and then a new player comes in, how are they ever going to climb that zap leaderboard to get with him? So obviously there's ways they can tweak it with leader. Now the burden then would fall on Sorare in my mind to like make like achievable and compelling goals for that new player to come in. But it goes to like this whole thing of like, I don't think Sorare knows what they have with Rivals, right? They're like, okay, we're going to invent Rivals as our new entry game because we need to make a simpler version of the game that can be a better entry point. So like we're going to invent Rivals to be the entry point. Rivals is our entry point. Rivals entry, entry is Rivals, Rivals is entry is Rivals, Einhorn is Finkel, all of that, right? That's Sorare's mindset as they're creating this whole mode. And then they release it out into the public, and then all of a sudden all their hardcore So5 players are like, oh
Stop
shit!
That. I'm stopping you right now. Do not.
I tried to slip it in.
I tried
to slip it in. I tried to slip that one in. All of a sudden, all their hardcore SO5 players are like, well, hey, new mode, let's go. And they're like, the piranhas that just like zoom onto this new thing. And we sort of discover ways to play this game and start thinking about strategies and stuff that Sorare never even considered when they were designing the game. Because we're players. That's what players do. They look for exploits and they jump all over something and go for it. So like, what they don't know, what they have on their hands is, yes, Rivals is a better entry than like the common game and stuff that they used to have. But this is also like a great opportunity to like reinvigorate the hardcores. And like, if they would capitalize on it, there's a lot of people that love Sorare and are very established in the game that want to sort of take a second honeymoon, with Rivals and like, have a reason to be buying cards. Like, I'm buying cards again. It's been years, I can't believe it. It's, you're like the guy in the rom-com or whatever, getting over his divorce. It's like so ridiculous. So like, I just feel like they need to figure out a way to make, get people more opportunities to play, like Keith's saying, without totally like borking the leaderboard process. And I think one way to do that is something Sean and you have talked about a lot on the show, which is split the leaderboard into the commons only leaderboard and the pro cards leaderboard and stuff like that. But they need rewards. They need to be able to like reward those new divisions they'd be creating inside of Rivals.
Do you play Rivals right now with the expectation that what you're doing now will make it easier to win rewards later?
No, I kind of play for the same reason Sean does, which is like, hey, this has a chance to be something big, and I want to be in early on working my way up the leaderboard. Now I'm on a huge losing streak. I lost like 5 in a row, so that kind of like nerfed my progress, unfortunately. But I am still playing and trying to move up. I play 1 or 2 matches a day. I'm trying to build tickets. I'm trying to get a little more. I have 5 tickets right now, and I fell asleep like an hour before. I think Skosma was talking about this, like staying up for an extra hour when you want to go to bed just so you can claim your ticket. Again, like why do we have to log in to claim it? It's not like this. It's not like they're serving up ads that are getting them impressions for us logging in. Who cares if we log in? But I don't know. I just think like they need to like when you say RIP Rivals, right? You say the title of the show, RIP Rivals. It's a bit tongue in cheek, but like it probably hopefully will make people in France in Sorare. Maybe they're staying up late to watch, or I guess it's still office hours over there, right?
It's dinner time.
So if anyone from Sorare is watching, I would just say like, you need to like realize what you have on your hands, which is a way to like, yes, it is better onboarding, but like this is a way to like get the hardcores really involved again. If you can come up with compelling rewards. And I know the gambling laws are hard to navigate and all that. I don't really know exactly how they do it, but some way to like make your head-to-head battles against people have a little bit more of a stake would be awesome. I really do. I think it could like to curve Sorare play towards DFS and head-to-heads and stuff like that can only help in America, at least. I don't know.
Do you pay any attention to people who are like challenging you in friendly matchups?
A little bit. I think it's cool that they show on there like who your biggest rival is, who you have a winning streak against. Like I pay attention to those little icons that they put on people. But mostly what I'll do, my process is like set a lineup and then go to the tab that shows all the other requests, and I'll just look for other people who have lineup set. So I don't like bother people. I don't challenge them for the most part if they don't already have a lineup set, because I don't want to like I don't like to get a bunch of notifications. I don't want to give them extra notifications, right? So I only challenge the people that already have lineup set. Or sometimes if I challenge you and you don't have a lineup set, it's usually because I want to troll you. So it's usually because I know you. I'm like, I'm just going to send them a little ding because they don't have a lineup set. So Yeah, so I think like it's kind of good. I think that they can flesh that out a little more and put you into like divisions, of like who your biggest rivals are and have little like weekly sub contests and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The friendlies are just for bragging rights at the most part now, but they can also be for side games. Like if I have a buddy, like I've talked about this third party site. Like if there was a way to go on the third party site and set up little escrow accounts for people to bet head to head, you'd make a ton of money taking a rake off that. You'd be shut down and sent, you'd have to go offshore with this operation.
Yeah.
It's completely illegal, but you
Yes.
would make a decent amount of money doing it.
I mean, it's like completely legal in most. I'm not a lawyer, but surely it's legal somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But again,
I heard everything's
not
legal
legal
in Costa
advice.
Rica, right?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, that's where I went on my honeymoon. So maybe that's the key. Maybe I need to go back. Anyway,
Love it.
Colonel Dickweed was saying, do friendlies have any impact or anything, or are they just for bragging? I think they're just for bragging now. And I'll be honest, I don't challenge anyone, but I do get challenged and I just accept everything.
Yeah.
They accept all. I don't even think about it. Just accept all.
Right.
Let's go. And then I'll just look. There's nothing better or worse than seeing like winning 35 of 36 and you're losing your arena match.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've definitely had that for sure in the Arsenal match the other day. I thought I actually bought 3 limiteds. I bought 3 limiteds, which I don't buy limiteds anymore, except for like Charlotte FC. And I had like an Arsenal stack, and I'm like, I'm going to use this 5-man Arsenal stack and see what I can win with it without ever buying any more limited cards. And I've won a few Premier League limiteds in the specialist division that Black thinks I shouldn't be allowed to play. Yeah, and but then to play the Arsenal rivals match, because the guys I have were all high L15s. I was jumping in the Arsenal rivals, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go 5-man pro card lineup. So I bought like 3 new limiteds that I never would have bought. Now, one thing is the buy now price on Emile Smith Rowe was $25 and he was on the market for 13. So that's a little bit, and that's a little bit extreme. So rare with your buy nows, but it was different years, but still.
Oh, it was way different.
Yeah. But there was another one for 15 that was the same year. That's the
Did you go to the secondary, or did you do the
I did.
now?
I went to the secondary just to check, and the prices were lower. So why would I pay more? But then I did have to, I wasn't certain if they would auto populate into my lineup I'd already set. So then I had to like go back and rebuild my lineup from scratch. And I know if you click buy now, they do automatically. So I guess you're getting a little bit of a convenience fee for that buy now click. But, and I thought to myself, I could see myself, since I like to play the Premier League division, if I'm in a Premier League rivals game, I will buy cards I will buy pro limited cards because it's part of an overall. I always play Premier League Specialist Limited every week, so I might as well just get more Premier League cards to sort of help flesh that out. It's too late for the Winter Special at this point, but in theory, I could have been putting like multiple lineups into the Winter Special if I had been building up this collection. But so Rivals has got me. I've bought 4 cards in Rivals, and the cards I never would have bought. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, I don't know if Sorare is pushing that hard enough. That's all. I just don't. I think we're still in a world where existing users are the ones more likely to take advantage of buying cards for Rivals than new users. Do you agree with that?
That's fair. Absolutely.
So like in that sense, you might have to say that is a non-success for Rivals so far. Let's call it that.
That's fair. No. I think that's totally fair. But I also, it kind of reminds me of when MLB and NBA launched, mm-hmm. and so many of the initial buyers of those cards were existing football managers. Mm-hmm. And everyone's like, oh, it's not bringing in new users. And it's like, who do you think was going to buy those cards? Like, you're not going to have this random NFT fantasy sports site launch a new game and have all of these new people be like, yes, I'm in. No questions asked. Let's go. Like, of course you're going to have the existing users, which is the case with Rivals. Like fundamentally, the people who are familiar with, who are already on Sorare.com are going to play your game. Right. And I have no idea how many new people have signed up because of it. Frankly, I don't think we need to care. But
I mean, we kind of do, but
why does it matter?
That's why. That's why. Because new users push prices up, unlike any other factor in the market. Let me just say it that way.
Okay, that's fair. I don't think so. I would counter that we actually don't care about the number of users that are coming. We just care that our number goes up.
Sure.
Okay. So it's a reverse funnel.
Yeah. Thank you, Sam. Sorry.
So
up what I'm putting down.
Yes. So it feels like surely they had to have known that most of the players at the beginning were going to be existing users, because you can't.
I hope that's
Right.
what they knew, but it doesn't seem like it's built as a way to compel new users. It just kind of happened by accident because we're sickos and we love fantasy games and we latch onto it.
But fundamentally, if it's actually just an onboarding tool,
mm-hmm.
having all of us play now and then get sick of it and stop kind of makes sense, right? Because then now at some point, new users are not competing against us. They're competing against other users, other new users.
I guess
that's
kind
of the onboarding.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I still feel like, I can think of 2 or 3 friends specifically that I get together to watch games with that I haven't yet, that are not on Sorare, but like I can foresee, me going for like a Premier League Saturday to the pub with these guys, in the next 2 or 3 weeks. I haven't met up with these guys since Rivals launched, right? But I go to them. We meet every few weekends or whatever. So yeah, so the next time I'm there, I'm like, hey guys, are you interested at all in checking out a little fantasy side game for the game that we're all about to watch together, right? And they'll probably all say sure, whatever, they'll try it, and then maybe one of the 3 will stick with it. Who knows? But that you still need that. I don't think I'm going to be sitting at a bar by myself or with a friend who doesn't know what Sorare is, and we see a commercial and we say, "Oh, the game's about to start, and I just saw this commercial for Sorare. Maybe I'll download the app and see what it's all about." I don't think that is happening huge. I still think it's a word of mouth thing. So like it is onboarding, but it's an existing user still onboarding you into this game, I
think that's reasonable. I haven't seen, I guess the 2 ads are the ones with Nellis and Nacho. And I don't know if the end call to action is like, go get the app and check it out. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I haven't seen, I can't picture it off the top of my head, but yeah, it obviously should be like, download the app, download the app, download the app,
Yeah.
For sure.
Now
People
that it's
download an app these days, they'll start following prompts. Before you know it, they're buying rare cards.
Here we go.
Here we go. I mean, what I want to see is just like, I want to see the top level of the leaderboards be like really hotly contested and competitive. I want to see guys like Sean and Nanzo battling for supremacy. Like, I want to like create like an ecosystem where like everyone who plays Sorare knows who the best Sorare players are via the Rivals leaderboard. So like that's how I think they should be trying to build it. As it's sort of creating this like, like I don't know, So I think some daily fantasy sites have tried this before. DraftKings, I think, tried this, like bringing in their like DraftKings superstars, and they had like some of the top players were sort of like
brought all the nerds
playing in a league or whatever, and it didn't really work. It was a huge bust, to be honest. But I think Sorare has a little bit more because we're not playing against each other as much, because everyone's just playing for threshold against the site anyway. There's a little bit more of a community, and there's a little bit more of like people are cheering for their favorite Sorare players to do well, a little bit more so than in DraftKings and stuff like that. So I think people want to see you do well, Laird. I think people want to see that. I think people are cheering for you. Everyone loves you. You're the most loved man in fantasy. So
for Rival, no, I don't even want to go into. So Nanzo's here. Nanzo, who is grinding the leaderboard, he's currently at 455 zaps. I have no idea where that puts him, as Sean would say, in the world. But he says if the aim is to put off existing users, they're succeeding. Again, this is from an existing user who has grinded his way all the way to 455 zaps. He's currently playing someone with 180 elo below him. 5 points for a win, -7 for a loss. At least wait until I'm number 1 before pulling that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point that's going to happen though. Like you can't you can't forever get more for winning than lose for losing if you're better than everyone.
And I don't know. I'm not an expert on this, but I feel like 180 elo below is a little bit of a mischaracterization. I'm not 100% sure, but like, does he mean like 180 zap points below?
That's what I would
Because like elos are like levels, and I don't think there's even 180 levels in this game necessarily. Maybe there is, but
no, I would guess just zap 180.
Yeah, but the +5 -7. If I'm playing someone with 180 less zap than me, I would expect it to be, I would expect it to be maybe like +5 -5. I wouldn't, maybe the -7's a little harsh, but like it's going to get to that point. Now, It's just sad that you got matched up with that person. Maybe is this for a game? Is this for like one of these 1 o'clock Portuguese games that has nobody playing? And so there's just not that many in the arena. So you couldn't get someone who was a little closer to your level. I'm not sure. But I don't know. I do think it's still early days. It's still early days for shaking out the ELO leaderboard. I mean, I think you're going to have to give this a couple months. I really do. Like, maybe that's too long for some people, but like they basically they put a bunch of mixed nuts in a jar and they're shaking the thing up and they're waiting for the bigger nuts to rise to the top. So like, it just is what it is. And
Dougie said
I never say anything by accident, Lairdy.
Yeah, no, I know you mean everything you said. Dougie said he's at 415 zaps right now and facing a 242 in the gank game, which
yeah. I'm not going to say that's good. I'm not going to say that's good. They should try to fix that. I'm not,
but maybe that's the closest that they can, in that situation of
gank. I would feel is pretty popular.
I don't know.
I also think like everyone knows if you're sharp, you just don't play pro cards, right? If you just really want to play a strategy game right now, you're just playing commons only because you don't want to play a 2 pro card lineup because you're going to get matched up against a 4th pro. 2 rares against 4 limiteds is a mismatch with the way the scoring goes. So like, I just play commons only, even in games where I might have some rare cards. I'll just not play those guys, So like you've talked about that. Sean's talked about the strategies and like. I think that's wrong. I think they need to change that. I think they need to like merge those two people, like merge the common only players and some pro cards players back into the same pool and force you to face pro cards even if you're commons only. I think that surprised me that was a split there, and they need I kind of get it because it's early days, like I said, but I think they should phase that out as people start to find their levels.
I could not agree more, and I think it makes sense for a little bit. Like, you don't want your first time playing to be against someone who has a ton of pro cards. And obviously the elo, like your introductory elo is going to be, I don't know if it's 0, but like it's low.
Right.
And you're going to face somebody with pro cards who's low, but like, you don't want to necessarily lose just because of that right away. Like maybe the number's 10, win 10, not 10 in a row, but like win 10. Hey, now you're going to be up against people with pro cards.
Sure.
Oh, by the way, here's one for $22 that you can buy for $11 on the secondary market, but we won't tell you. Anyway.
Well, hey, you just got to be sharp. You're buying convenience at that point. But yeah, time is money. Like, I totally agree with you. And like, again, it's only been a couple of weeks. Let's see what things look like in March. No one ever likes to hear preaching patience because it's just boring and it's, things change so fast and you don't want to get left holding any bags. I get it, but like, sometimes you gotta be patient.
Carol here said it never happens in common, but in pro there are huge discrepancies, and I think that's meaning the elo differences.
Of course,
but you're just based on there are probably many more people who can play 5 commons than get pro cards with gank. As much as we think like everyone has gank cards, like a lot of people don't have gank cards,
and so there's still only about 1,000 or so, or there's still probably only like 1,000 or so of each gank guy still in the market,
right?
Maybe 2,000, yeah,
right. Of like all scarcities combined, no less. Even though we can go up to 1,000, like we know that limiteds haven't come close to that,
right? Jimmer says Jimmer's comment. Jimmer knows a lot about elo. Jimmer plays he's a gamer. He plays a lot of games, and I talk to people that are huge into League of Legends, Dota. Chess. Elo was invented for chess. Its name. It's some dude's name. It's some Finnish guy, right? Whose name was literally Elo or some Scandinavian anyway. And he are Finns Scandinavian? I don't know. That's probably a side episode. But Elo is like a guy's name. He invented this system for sort of like pairing people of different skill levels into levels and groups where they can be matched fairly, and it just takes time.
It was Arpad. Elo.
Arpad. What's his nationality? Hungarian. I was way off.
Way off. In fairness, he lived in Wisconsin for a little bit, and like temperature wise, it's probably pretty similar to Scandinavia.
Yeah. Hey, we'll claim him.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like the overwhelming thought that I keep having about Rivals is that it is surely way more successful than they thought it would be. And
go on.
I don't think they ever thought that people like Sean, PSU fans too, for those of you, would be buying cards to play Rivals.
Right.
And it's working. And now they're like, oh, what do we do now? And we'll see.
He and I and others are doing that, sort of like betting on the come that it's going to be worth it. There's going to be some type of great prizes available at the top leaderboards a few months down the line. So I hope they understand. Well, that's why that's happening. I don't know.
What do you think the best prize you will be able to win in Rivals will be?
Star Limiteds.
So you think it caps out at limiteds?
To be honest, I think it should be cash. I think you should have cash. Even if it's $5, even if it's $25, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think there should be cash in the drop boxes as well.
Jimmer says, to be fair, no one could have predicted Sean caring about Rivals in its current state. So like Sean does not care about Rivals in its current state.
Right.
Like, just like Tripp here, like they are playing the current state because of what they care about in the future state.
Right. And I think they came up with a good idea with the drop boxes, you know, the loot boxes or whatever. I think that's a good mechanic, and like sneaking that in the door via Rivals, there's a way to sort of expand that to SO5 in the future and stuff like that. I think it's all, so like everything's good, but I just feel like I'm a little bit worried that because of the way some of these like Elo shakeouts that we've been talking about and the ticket issues that we've been talking about, some of these little hangups that are kind of like turning people off that were super hyped up about it, like you said, it's why you titled this episode the way you did. And so like, I hope that they're realizing this and needing to deal with it, because there does come a point you'd hate for anyone who's like a big time player, even a wannabe like myself, like who's like trying to like compete and like climb the leaderboards. If we discover that there's no payoff, then I think that there's larger ramifications on that for Sorare in total beyond just even Rivals. Trust the team.
So I think that's unfair that for you guys to do that. But I also totally understand why you would feel that way. But it's the reason I say that is because it feels like the game was created for one reason. And we all saw something and we were like, oh, there's another reason it could have been created. And we are going to now act like that's the reason it was created.
Mm-hmm.
And when the outcome benefits the first reason and not the second, we all get pissed. But like my response is like, but it was never about that. It was just, you just made it up. So like I'm getting pissed because now I don't get double tactics because my name is Andrew. And response is like, well, it was never going to be that.
Who's to determine the value of the art, Andrew? The artist or the observer? You know, like, is the author's intent in a novel the only thing that should be mattered, or does the reader's interpretation matter? Like, it doesn't matter what Sorare wanted to do. They released this thing out into the wild, and we're going to do with what we do. So it's their job to like, they can either see what's happening and react to try to breathe life into this thing, and you know, just like blow on the fire and let it blow into a blaze, or they can snuff it out because it's not the way they wanted to do it.
That was like the perfect response. Damn it. I need to go back to having dumber people on the show. Anyway. Manny's wondering if you think tactics in pro comps could happen.
I don't think so, because I don't really like tactics as far as choosing strategy. I think it just kind of adds a little bit of randomness. Like, I think it's important for rivals because there's too much of a chance of like having same lineups and same scores and stuff like that. So tactics is just one more little differentiator that you need in a single game setting. But there's plenty of other variants involved in an entire world global soccer game. So I don't think you need to add more variants via tactics that way. Personally.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, obviously we see a lot more, like you need lineup duplication reducers.
Yeah.
That sounded very, very like fancy, but you basically don't want a bunch of people with the same lineups. And when you have only a player pool of essentially 22, including one spot that's one of two guys, like the goalkeeper, like you need ways to break ties. And captains and tactics do that. I did have one, I think to this day, Tuggy's the only person I've ever tied because Drew, excuse me, my God. Because we had different tactics, but we both reached like the second level and it was like, okay, see you next time.
I love it. DraftKings refund.
What were you going to say? Sorry, I cut you off there.
Oh, before we, like, I have other things. There's other things they need to do. If you bring up like a rivals build screen, maybe if you go to like the Rio Ave Estoril Premier Liga game and that's kicking off here in about 9 minutes, we don't necessarily have to build a lineup for this, but I want to show a few of the things that maybe people haven't thought about that you and I know could sort of speak on with our DraftKings experience and just knowing daily fantasy. There's a few things that are like easy things that I think Sorare could do to make this more accessible. So if you click set lineup and we have starters in for this game, right? So before the match, before the 11s come out, you see everyone available. That's fine. But like, there needs to be, once the starters are named, DraftKings and FanDuel do this. There needs to be a toggle up top that like lets you flip to show starters only. So get everyone who's not started the match like out of your field of vision. Much easier. Goalkeepers doesn't matter, but it's much easier to make decisions, especially at the extra slot that way, because you just get some of the clutter out. So like that's one like UI thing they definitely need to do, and it's so easy.
Yeah, I don't know what this is actually one that becomes even more important on the app. Because the app having to like scroll through all of these guys who are not starting. Right. And
you can misclick so easily.
So easily.
Yeah. So, and this is just a thing where Sorare, I mean, they say they wanted to create a fantasy gaming company. You read the white paper from, 6-7 years ago and all this stuff. And it's like, but I don't know how much they really instinctually feel fantasy gaming the way that we do over here who've been playing. I've literally been playing fantasy NFL since Barry Sanders, was still active. He was my number one draft pick one year. Like, love it. So like, I've been playing fantasy for decades, and like some of these guys are new to it. I still feel like they're NFT bros that try to create a fantasy game instead of fantasy bros who try to use NFTs. I still think that ultimate tension at the heart of the company, like, informs a lot of these silly, gaps in what should be done to make a better game. That makes sense.
It's funny you say that, because that immediately reminded me of a line that Jimmer had in a show we did a long time ago that said, do you think that they created the solution before the problem existed? And they created a solution for a problem that didn't exist, excuse me. And it was kind of like, maybe.
Well, I mean, they kind of did. I mean, like when I first learned about Sorare, like I just immediately grasped like that core idea, which was a fantasy game where you can get an edge for yourself in the game through ownership that other people can't access, through scarcity. So like in DraftKings, you have an 8-man lineup and everyone has Mbappe, Neymar. Everyone, like every single person in a 150-man contest has Mbappe, Neymar in their 2 forward spots. I was really interested in a game where only a few people could even be allowed to have Mbappe or Neymar, so like stuff like that. Neymar, sorry for the pronunciation gods. So another thing they need to do is that in addition to the toggle of starting or not starting here, there needs to be a toggle of fit the salary cap or not. So when you get to your extra slot, you're only seeing the guys who fit the salary cap. So just like, again, that's minor, but it was helpful. And it's like these little minor helpful things, the way they iterate this game, you think they would have stumbled onto this one by now. I tried to give it to them in feedback, but they never invited me to the focus group. So
they have that already in the regular SO5 lineup builder.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
Just slide that code over, baby.
I will say that it's funny to me that they can not use a full name in this card, but if you look for the stats, you can get the full name.
Right.
And maybe I'm complaining about something that just like legally cannot be fixed, but man, that is just tilting.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. They could put it below the card. They could put it right above where it says select. They could put the full name, even if it's not printed on the card, you know, because that's the same as when it opens in the player page. I don't know.
I misclicked recently because of that.
Yeah.
I think it was actually two guys that had the same. I think for some reason the name Hugo S is in my head, and then the contest went live, and I had a non-starter, and I'm like, how? And I'm like, there are two Hugo S's, and I just missed that I had one in already, and then
I once had 5 guys named Zhao in my lineup.
I tried to do that on SO5 once, and it just wasn't worth it. Let's see. Sorry, I was looking for.
But like, if you talk, so the reason I brought all this stuff up, this sort of user interface stuff, which maybe some people find boring, but I think is interesting, is because like we're talking about that whole bigger issue of like, is Rivals an onboarding, or is it a hyper souped up version of for hardcores? And can it be both? Should it try to be both? And I was actually kind of intrigued by that thing you said of how Sorare wants all of us, you know, us, the regulars, to all burn out on this game. So then it's left, you know, kind of off to the side for the new users, the new casuals to then discover once we finally sort of like use it, you know.
I had never thought of it that way, to be honest.
What do you mean?
Until like the whole like, let us play it.
Yeah. That just like popped into your head. Yeah. And it was interesting. I thought that thought, you know, for the conspiracy minded amongst us, it's definitely a compelling thought.
Sorry, I'm just finishing my lineup here.
Oh, nice. Who do we got? Yeah. So are you gonna put this baby in the arena?
Who these guys are.
I should have put a lineup together for this too myself. I probably can. I don't know if I should put it in the arena though. Who's favored in the match?
Rio Ave.
All right.
So I went with their goalie. I went with I have no idea who this guy is. Josue Sa, Josue, probably. Guga's on sets, as is oh wait, I missed the other.
Wait, Guga's not starting, bro.
Oh, is he? See, this is what happened.
See, this is why you need to have the filter, you know. And like when you talk about appealing to casuals, like even like you and I are like serious gamers, and even we can sort of like make a mistake like that acting quickly. So like to help the casuals, you got to filter out the, you know.
I'm also just an idiot, so
well,
let's see.
You knew Guga was on sets.
Takes sets.
Who takes sets when Guga's out is the real question.
Hernani, or was it Guga? See, this is my problem, is that I get too into it. Yeah. Guga plays for Rio Ave. Yeah, so it's Hernani, who's also not starting. I have no idea, man. See, now I'm
just
like,
play Zhao. Just play. When in doubt, play Zhao.
Just always play Zhao.
Yeah.
Do we even have one? Oh, here he is. He's not starting. The not starting people still here is infuriating.
Yeah. I think we just got a dramatic object lesson in the point that I just tried to explain. So it's pretty makes me thankful.
Even starting for this, I'm not doing this. See, this is
you got 90 seconds. Yeah.
Oh,
my heart rate's going up, bro.
Thank God that it's gone.
Yeah. I feel better already with you taking that off the screen. So thank you,
man. Ooh. I almost burned my 54th ticket there, but sorry, guys. Still got him.
Yeah, I love
it. Jimmer says, I think there's another issue, which is a lack of people, which is probably the larger factor. Oh, wait a minute. Which is lack of people, which is probably a larger factor, which is time. I think that's another issue other than lack of people. Gotcha. There hasn't been a ton of time for people to get up the ELO. So I think that's right. Yeah. And that's another example of everyone being like, no. The ELO's got to like work its way out. Give it a few weeks, and we're like, hey, it's been 5 days. Let's go.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to already. Like, the worst is like, it's not even just the waiting, it's having to grind during the wait. And I don't know. How excited are you for the daily missions? Will that help you grind more?
Maybe. I mean, there's one mission that's a streak to like play 30 arena matches, play an arena match 30 days in a row, right? That's one of the challenges.
This is now, has yours always said coming soon? Because mine just always tried to load something and never actually voted in anything.
I don't. Let's see. I don't know if it's always said coming soon, but it does now. So
Yeah.
But I was thinking if you go to like my club and you go down to challenges on the right
Yeah, I
side,
think I've done all of mine.
there's one that's like in the unrivaled tab, I believe it is. No, that's the one that's all about ratings. There's one that's like play at least one match for 30 consecutive days. I don't know if that's arena or friendly, but the here to stay achievement under Rivals Challenges Tactician. So I mean, there's something to try to get you playing every day, but I don't know. I agree with Jimmer that we've not had enough time to shake out the elo effectively yet. Like some of these games, like I mentioned earlier, like League, they've been around for years, and so it's very efficient and very effective, very good. But I did think, like, what if League of Legends? This is another hypothetical from your name that we were talking about before the show. What if League of Legends was like, oh, sorry, you already used your ticket. You can't play in the ranked. You can't play on the Rift ranked anymore for the next 12 hours. Like, do you think it would be like one of the most popular games in the world with professional leagues dedicated to it? Probably not. So I get that like Sorare doesn't want to get out of control and let the grinders just like grind their way to the top of the leaderboard. But that might be better than the alternative now. I've kind of come around and my thinking of this as the episode's gone on is just like, just let them go. Just let it be free. Let it be what it'll be.
I think Jimmer's suggestion here actually helps close this gap, or closes the gap basically. But so he says, I think one of the problems is how big of a gap pro cards have above commons. Each scarcity should definitely give an advantage, but 5 uniques getting a 175% bonus against 5 commons, I think that's too much of a discrepancy. Elo should primarily be based on a manager's ability to select the right players, captain, and tactics, not the cards they have. So if a limited is 5%, rare 7, super rare 9, unique 11, it makes it much more realistic for a full common lineup to beat a full unique lineup.
I think that's correct, but not the right way to think about it, Jimmer, if you will. Because that doesn't help Sorare at all. So we got to think about these things in terms of like what's Sorare actually going to do that's going to help them. And so like the thing is, he's right in that where he says Elo should be primarily based on managers' ability to select the right players, not the cards they have. That's true. Your Elo should be based on your ability to select the right players once you've gotten the cards. I actually think the cards they have still has to be primary in that. And it's like, because that's what pushes people to like buy cards and help Sorare become a more sustainable platform.
But you're still getting a bonus for buying the cards. Like it's still better to buy the cards than not buy them.
Yeah, but you can still beat pro cards if they're the wrong pro cards. So I just think like the way I envision it is like at the highest level, at the top of the leaderboard, it's going to be the guys with the best cards showing they know how to use them the best. I don't think that a year from now you're going to be #1 ranked on the #1 leaderboard without either cards and skill both. You're going to need both.
So, but I think the way that the game is currently set up is that it's not a combination of having the best cards and using them correctly. It's just having the best cards. And like Jimmer's suggestion, I think
commons is split out because all common players never face cards.
But I'm saying even if they combine them and you could do it, like the bonuses are still so much bigger that like you really don't have.
We can shrink the bonuses a little bit. Fine. If that's what Jimmer wants, that's what Jimmer gets.
No,
it's what's weird to me is that the limited bonus is 20 and then the rare is 25. Like the huge gap from common to limited being so much more than limited to rare is what sucks to me. But hey, come at me when you get some rare cards,
I completely agree with you on that. And Sean actually brought that up. When was that? On Monday, where he was like, I've bought some rare cards for Rivals because if the limited was $2 and the rare is $5, I'll just buy the 5. Like It gives you like it's an extra 5%. But I agree that it's not that jump, from 0 to 20 to go from common to limited makes it feel like an onboarding game to just keep people to play limiteds. And that's probably right. To be honest, like you want people to play limiteds and then decide if they want to play higher stakes or not.
Sure. I agree with that. Yeah. I think like Rivals get you from common to limited SO5 gets you from limited to the higher scarcities. I think that's an okay model. I have no problem with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Quinny.
What's up, Quinny? Shout out to you.
Jimmer said, I'm not saying I'm right necessarily, which Jimmer wouldn't say that. I'll say he is, though. But for you to play more people at your ELO, the only solution in the current format is to mint more uniques, which Nanza would just buy anyway. I'm just kidding. But he said, in a world where they close the gap significantly on the advantage of pro cards, there should not be logic to separate matchups, only match on ELO, pro cards or not in the lineup.
Sure. If you say so, I agree. Why not?
Yeah. No, I think then one of the updates at some point has to be like, at some point you can't continue to climb as much as you do if you're only playing common lineups.
Yeah, they've got to address that for sure. And I was thinking one reason, you know how just to bring it full circle here, we talked about the tickets and people like ultimately that we're at a potential just today, January 31st, 2024. We're at a potential choke point in the growth of this game, this side game mode, because people that are really fired up about it are being turned off by the lack of tickets, right? That's what kind of inspired this whole episode. And the platform from which every tangent we've been into has launched. But the one thing that I just realized as we talked about it, if they start making tickets like more readily available, and everyone has like 25, 35, as many tickets as they need, more than they can use in a day, every day, that kind of nerfs the rewarding of tickets as loot box prizes, because tickets are so scarce, like they can hold them back as prizes. And it's like, hey, I was like, oh, fuck, I got to win my 5 tickets, oh, I'm so glad I won 5 tickets, not 3, because now I got 2 more. And it's like, it's the second the tickets become cheap, they also become completely worthless as loot box prizes. So just a thought.
Yeah, no, that's a really, really good point. But fuck it, man. Just give people their tickets.
Yeah, give us our tickets.
No. So, but like the reason why I go back to that and the whole RIP Rivals thing is it feels like the people that I know that really want to play the game are prohibited from playing the game simply because they don't have the tickets. Like they would buy them if they could, or they would give up coins to, like, they will do things other than spam their friends to get them to sign up for Sorare to get more tickets. And so like just reward tickets in SO5. Yeah. Maybe that's threshold. Forget $50. Give people 50 tickets.
How about reward loot boxes in SO5?
Yeah.
With Rivals tickets in them.
Yes. I mean, they did that 1 week where they had the cap 270 reward box and then just gone.
I think they'll get there. The roadmap's coming, right? It's February. Didn't they promise us February?
It's still January. 31 Jan. 31 Jan. Don't rush anything.
When do you think we'll get the roadmap in real life? What week in February?
I mean,
I think the 5th.
They used to do Thursday news drops because it always happened during Sorare Andrews, and the last few have not been. And so I feel like it's better to do them early in the week because then you have like all week to react to it, as opposed to feeling like the 5 p.m. Friday, like, hey, here's the news. We'll see you Monday. So I think it's either the beginning of next week or the beginning of the week after that.
I love it.
But I don't know. I was going to say, the last idea. I know you have to go soon. The idea that I think made sense to me the most was if you win your arena match, you get your ticket back.
Yeah, of course. It's a great idea. That's easy.
Yeah. Somebody told me that idea, but I'm going to take full credit for it.
Yeah, and then you're not just rewarding grinders, you're rewarding people who win.
Winners, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like that.
Nanzo says award a ticket if you hit the 40-point tactic bonus.
Of course, why not?
I like that too. You're right. We should have to win something, do something to win our tickets back. Right. Yeah.
It's like a coach's challenge in the NFL. You challenge the successful, you keep your challenge.
Yeah. I think we just solved the whole thing. 55 minutes in, we just solved the entire game.
They follow the NFL in France? I don't know.
Yeah. Didn't they have a game there? Germany. That's as close as they got.
I think there was a World League of. I think Marseille had a team in the World League of American Football. I think.
I don't remember. Anyway, Trip's got to go. So that's it. Thank you to everybody for coming. If you could please like, subscribe. There are 93 people watching right now. 23 likes. There should be 1,000 likes on this show. TrippinB is here,
right,
sharing his ideas to save Sorare. It's crazy. Anyway,
right.
Maybe they're all coming later, Tripp. But anyway, thank you, everybody. Trips, thanks for coming on.
I thank you for having me. It's always an honor to talk to you, my friend. Be on the best freaking show there is with the best viewers. Shout out to you.
Thank you very much. If anybody wants more TrippinB, is it TrippinB Sorare or is it just
TrippinB Sorare? Just TrippinB Sorare on YouTube.
Sorare.
It's kind of, it's like a video journal of my Sorare experience. It's not, you never know what you're going to get, except you'll get a vintage movie clip off the top of every episode.
That's right. That's right.
Has some type of tangential relationship to what I'm going to talk about.
And I will say, if you ever had a good Rivals idea, there's a video of Tripp from 3 months ago talking about it anyway. So anyway, Zap Daddy, thank you very much. Everyone else, good luck in the arena.